Good morning, everybody. I want to start this channel off on a good note and start the first discussion about being pregnant. More specifically, teen pregnancy. Now, I know everybody's going to balk. Nobody should be doing that. All this yada yada yada. But it happens. And it happens a lot more often than people want to see. But it can be dealt with. And for most people, that is the very first life-changing event that they'll ever experience. Sometimes the only one. But there are resources. And I would advise the first thing that you do is speak to your parents. Now, if they are the reason, sometimes they are the reason you're pregnant. You speak to whoever you trust the most. And if you don't have anybody that you trust, go to the police department and they will put you in touch with a counselor. But now, you need to know what the options are. If you find yourself pregnant and under 18, you do have options. One of them is you keep the child and raise it yourself. There's no harm, no foul in doing that. Also, there is one where you carry it to full term and give it up for adoption. And once again, there's no harm, no foul. You're just choosing the best option for the child at that point. And the third option, very, very controversial, so we won't even dwell on it too awful much, and that's abortion. And I'll tell you why we won't dwell on it too much, is because it is hard on a person physically and emotionally. You think raising a child would be hard? Try thinking about what it would be like if you had it aborted. Years from now, you're going to wonder, well, it would have been this age and this playing this ball or whatever. That's going to haunt you. So, we're going to talk about options. The first option, raising it on your own. You have resources for doing that. If you have a church that you go to, more often than not, they always have someone that you can talk to, the pastor, his wife, if he has one. They have donations room, for lack of a better way to put it. And they keep donations of things like that. Clothes, baby clothes, diapers. You know, if you tell them that you're in need in your situation, then most of them will help. If they don't, there are the Human Services Department, the Health Department, and the Police Department. And don't balk at the Police Department now, because they have ties to all of these other agencies that you may know nothing about. Now, the Human Services Department, they will set you up with some sort of income and an income-based housing if you need to move out of your parents' house, depending on the situation in which you got pregnant. The Health Department, they will help take care of you and get the prenatal vitamins you're going to need and get all the prenatal services you need, and also some of the parenting programs. They're there to teach you. They're not there to look down their nose at you. If they do, I think I'd report them. And then next is the Police Department. Now, a lot of people don't understand that you can go to the Police Department and ask for help. Now, they have agencies. There are government agencies down all the way down to the county and city level, and they are there to help. And depending on the situation in which you got pregnant, if you were raped, if your father pimped you out to your uncle, You know, they are there to help with all of that stuff. So you've got to think about all of this. Sit down, think about it before you tell anybody that you're pregnant. And get a game plan together. Because depending on who in your family you tell, you know, there may be a lot of resentment, hurt feelings, just a whole lot of stuff that you don't really want to deal with. A lot of people think that you have to get married to the father in order for the baby to be, you know, have a name. That's not true anymore. I mean, be realistic. You can give that baby your last name and it'll be perfectly happy. Because odds are, if the father's not involved in the baby's life already, then he's not going to stick around and be for the baby later. And that baby's going to hate him for it. Let's see. Yep, that's the gist of it. Once you decide what you're going to do, I mean, you can even go down as so far as to write it on paper. And I would do that because I didn't do that the first time. When I got pregnant in my teenage years, and I mean, I am by no means a saint. I was pregnant at 17. Had a child while I was 17. And I wouldn't take anything for her. But I do regret marrying her daddy. And I found resources that helped. My own personal family wasn't that big of help. But the county and city resources were. And so was the police department. So you think about that. Look into your own state, wherever you're at, and click in that state.gov. And if you have access to internet, if you don't, go to the library. Get yourself a library card. And talk to people. Talk to people in these government agencies. They'll help you through it. Because this is one of the biggest life-changing events. And it's going to change a life for somebody else. Not just you, but that little lima bean you're carrying right now. That's going to change it for them. So, think about it. Study on it. Do the research. And talk to the different agencies. And then make your decision.